Leaving your abuser, and this has been tough. This has been a really tough segment. It takes me back a little bit as well. It was like 2009 when I was my abuser, and I've been doing reels on Facebook and uploading them here. Well, Facebook did something, and now I can't get back to the download. So here you have me today. I'm live. So it's Melinda Kunst. I'm coming on to talk about tips for leaving your abuser. And today's tip, and I actually went into a little more depth into yesterday's. I got messed up with the numbering, so if you see them out of order, like what do I have them as? 6, 8, 9, 7, 10. I know, that's me. I'm sorry. I went ahead and for some reason totally forgot 7, so it's out of order. But again, none of these tips are exactly like, oh, I have to do 1, 2, and 3, 4. No, they're all kind of scattered. Now, this is actually from an original blog post that I did, and I do have a Hope When There Was None blog. This was in 2019, that I'm taking this from. So you can actually view the original if you go to Hope When There Was None on Blogspot, and I can put the link down below in a little while. But so today I wanted to talk and touch on, again, the podcast I did talk about kids, but I'll touch on that right now. So leaving your kids, wow, what kind of mother or parent would even think about leaving their kid with a toxic person? What? I know this is hard. I had to do this. Doesn't make you a bad parent if you need to do this, okay? It doesn't make you a bad parent or a bad grandma or grandpa, whatever that looks like for you. You're not a bad person. The reason why I want you to think about this, when you are leaving that child, or when you're letting them know, hey, we're leaving, it's a bombshell. It's a traumatic situation as it is. If that child is of a particular age, that depends on you, totally on you. You can have your 6-year-old totally beating up on you, and this happens. This can happen. There is a condition, I don't remember what it's called. It's like a defiance disorder. I cannot remember what it's called totally off the top of my head. But there is something where a child at that young, 3 and 4, can become really violent. This happens, especially, I think it's especially if they're in an abusive situation, but I'm not a therapist or a licensed counselor. Please maybe talk with one of those. And so just so you, I wish I remember what it was, oppositional defiance disorder, something like that. Someone help me. If you know what it is, please throw it in the comments. I know my middle daughter was actually diagnosed with that when she was a teenager. Anyway, so taking your kid with you, man, that's big, right? Again, look at the situation. You know your child more than I do. You know your child more than the neighbor down the lane from you. What is a child capable of? Are they also mirroring the behavior of your toxic person in your life? Now, again, this, you might be leaving an abusive parent's home. You might be leaving your intimate partner. So these are things to think about. Do you feel like you'll be harmed physically if you take that child with you? Will they become that abuser in your life? So these are things you need to think of. Is there a lot of work that they need to have? Yeah, a lot of therapy. They do need some counseling or therapy to, and just kind of undo what all those behaviors are. It could be that your partner is not being the nicest person, saying, don't call your mom the witch word. No, they might be encouraging that child. Yeah, your mom's acting really bad today. She's naughty. Like in my instance, where my ex would say, your mom was naughty today. You need to spank her. Yeah, it happened. So that person can be telling your child, you need to abuse your mom. Hey, she's acting like a total C word today. Or, your dad's such a wuss, that sort of thing. Because remember, abuse can happen between men and women as well as women and men. So this goes both ways. This could be your parent telling your siblings, yeah, she's always a troublemaker. You know what? Let's kind of gang up on her. These things happen. And they're not pretty to talk about or think about, but these things happen. So when you're talking about leaving your abuser, and you have to give a second thought about leaving your child because they're possibly going to harm you, please don't also beat yourself up, okay? You have to do what's right for you. And it might be within a few months or a year that you're able to get that child back in custody, or it might be that you may never be able to because they're just so violent or abusive towards you. You might not be able to repair that relationship. But I keep prayer that someday me and my son will also, and I'm sorry I'm sniffling. I forgot to apologize on the podcast. I've got allergies. So you might need to pray to hopefully get that situation remedied in the future. And I have had a situation where I've been off and on with my oldest son, man. I had a situation, I explained this on the podcast. I know you're probably like, oh, yes, enough about the podcast. I'll visit it, Melinda. It's okay. So I did go into a little more of the depth there. When I was leaving my ex, there was a situation that I had where I needed to find a place to live. I'm not going to go and talk about why, but I had to go and leave where I was in order to find a new place. So I was in between. I stayed with Mr. Awesome. That's a whole new podcast with that as well. Bringing in a new partner into the mix when you're just leaving an abusive situation. Oh, that's a whole nother one for another day. Would I do it again? More than likely I wouldn't have done what I did. But anyway, it's over. It's done. Learn from me, at least what you can. So when I got the kids back, because there was like a good month when they were with dad, and I did get the flag too. If he's so abusive, why did he go back? Why did you let the kids go back with him? Reasons why they couldn't go with my parents, and there were reasons. They were just stuff. They couldn't go with XYZ. There were animal reasons, allergy reasons. They couldn't go with other people. And besides, no one else offered to take them. So what was I going to do? So I took them, left them with him. By the time I got, long story short, got my son back and the girls back, my son had been so brainwashed that he set a fire in my apartment in the closet. It was a small fire. I was able to get it under control. It was really, really, truly, he had just set it when I found it. And so I was able to put it out. I didn't need to call the fire department. I didn't call the police. Again, hindsight. He had a backpack with him in that he had 3 knives. He had planned that he and his sisters, which I know his sisters wouldn't have done this, but he and his sisters were going to stab me and kill me in my sleep. Okay? Now, I don't know how much my ex knew about this, but I'm guessing he did. He had a pair of gloves. My son did. He had a pair of gloves, and that was for fingerprints. Before that, going back, zip, 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 before all of that, my ex had did 2 things. One, he asked me to have my attorney draw up a document where my son, my eldest son, Matt, would be held harmless should he attack me or kill me. Yeah, and that set off red flags right there. And at that time, my son was still with me. So it's like, what the heck are you talking about? Why would he do this? I did talk to my attorney immediately the next day. Of course, I told him to, Rob, we're not doing this. So I did call my attorney the next day. Attorney, he's just like, what? He had the same kind of response I did. It was like, you don't know how to respond. Of course, I'm going through this roller coaster of being angry, being sad, being just confused and scared, and that just kind of floored me. Once I got that apartment, guess what Mr. Rob did, where my ex did? He went ahead, the sneaky bugger, he got insurance out on my apartment. He said I needed renter's insurance. He took out renter's insurance. As soon as I found out I had a renter's insurance, I went ahead and I canceled that bugger. It did go back to him. He was really ticked off. Why was he so ticked off that I didn't keep my renter's insurance? I wonder why. A month later, Matt goes ahead and starts a little fire. So I don't think it was innocent. I'm pretty sure that it was planned. Long story short, I did give Matt back. It hurt my feelings. It was really hard to do, but I had to do what was right for me. My attorney at the time knew what was going on. He was actually on the phone during that whole fire, knew he was going to stab me. He said, he gave me legal advice right there. He goes, I don't feel that you're going to be safe. You need to give him back. So I did. It was very hard for me a decision for me to make, but I did. So that's where I'm coming at, trying to clear up the fuzz with that. So gauge the situation, your own personal situation, how it is between you and your children, how that behavior and relationship is. So going on to today's, you may have to start talking with police and social workers, GALs, and so on about your story. Now, you might feel re-victimized all over again. This can happen. And your partner, that partner might not be so helpful. And they could spin the table so that you are feeling like you're the bad guy. They might tell everybody that you are instigating this, you're lying, and so on and so on. And this could actually raise a lot more trauma for you and your kids. So if this happens, please see a counselor or therapist. Reach out to somebody that can help you really and truly. And I know, again, this is a lot to digest. This planning has a lot of advantages, and the disadvantages, you're staying longer and getting more abuse. So please, either case, please be careful. And I just want you to know that it's not all unicorns and rainbows. There is some dark spots too. And within the first 72 hours of leaving an abusive relationship, it's the most volatile. It really is. And to be honest with you, after you leave that abuser, not only after that 72 hours, it could be still a big legal fight. It could still be a lot of abuse emotionally, if not physically. Whenever they get that chance, they can put their hands on you. My ex did. Anytime he got a moment, and me alone, he would put his hands on me. So these are things that can happen. I'm not telling you things to scare you or to say, you know what, this sounds like too much trouble, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. No, I just want you to have the information what could possibly go wrong, what could possibly happen. In saying that, please don't stay because of all of this. Stay because it's something that can be worked on, that you know that you both can have help. Now, don't stay because it's like, well, I have things that I can do to protect myself, so I stay. I know how to kind of navigate. Yeah, you're in your comfort zone with that abuser, okay? You kind of navigate, and I know I played the game. I know I did the same thing. But after a while, it really wears on you. There's depression, there's health issues, the stress of it all. It really takes a toll on your body. So you've got to kind of outweigh there. Can you see yourself there another year? 2 years. Let's go 5. Okay, you're going to wait until the kids are 18. Oh, well, you know what? I'll wait until the kids are, maybe they're out of college. Oh, we have this Disney vacation to go on. I'll wait until the Disney vacation goes on. Oh, the holidays are coming up. I can't leave now. I had the same excuses, except for the Disney vacation. But I had the same excuses. I couldn't do it anymore. How much can you take? What's your rock bottom? I'd really love to know. This is Melinda. I'm going to sign off. Do you have any comments about any of this series, any of these videos I've done? I'd love to know in the comments below. Did you pre-plan leaving your abuser? All right, so please stay safe. I'll probably come on live tomorrow to do the next batch. Please just think about this. Think about this really hard if you can, and maybe talk with a trusted friend as well. God bless. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.